Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad you could join us today to talk about marketing strategies with Cyndi Athmanathan.
Very close.
Athmanathan.
It's a hard one.
I was very close. Wasn't very close, but anyway, she's can talk a little bit about who she is, and we're very glad to have her with us today. She's a local marketing expert, and we're going to talk about how we can come up with some ideas for marketing strategies that can help a small business.
Yes, we are. So last week in the recording will be on YouTube. Soon. So last week we kind of covered the basics of marketing strategies, talking about, what is a strategy for local businesses. We talked a little bit about new entrepreneurs that are trying to start a business and kind of places they can start. And so this week I want to just kind of get everyone involved, and we'll unmute you on Zoom so we can have you introduce yourselves and talk kind of about what you are working toward, if you have something you're working on already. And then if you have some scenarios that you want to talk through, that's kind of what we're doing today, is workshopping. So I moved us to tables instead of me up on the stage today. And then I have a handout which Diane will email out to you guys when she is back. I kind of send it to her late, and it's a little bit pretty weird, so good luck with that. Mine is really weird. Anyway, so you guys will have the handout, but I'll just kind of talk through it. And then, like I said, I really want this to be more of a workshop where we figure out, together what works, what doesn't work, talk about the tools you use that you found really worked for your business, what worked about it, that kind of thing. And then in the handout, I gave a few examples, so I'll fill the space if we run out of things to talk about as a group as well. Okay, so should we go around and introduce ourselves, and then we'll unmute our Zoom people so they can introduce themselves as well. Yes, who wants to go first?
I should probably go first since I already talked. I'm Cyndi Athmanathan. I am the executive director of Pacific County Economic Development Council.
And probably working on how to market to get people to join the economic development.
I am working on marketing stuff. I actually have to work on marketing things all the time, because the idea is the purpose, for those of you who don't know, of an economic development council is to attract new business to the area and help business that's already here be successful, which is pretty much all marketing. Well, and a few other.
Sue Svensson, I'm Long Beach City Council. I've just thrown my hat in the ring to be mayor, so I do have some marketing brain on for that, but also marketing for the city of Long Beach and our local businesses, but not anything specifically of my own.
I'm always looking for new ideas. I work with mainly naturopaths and acupuncturists. I have a couple MDs and dentists that I work with, helping them create strategies to take their business online. My focus is more online courses, online presence, helping them bring the right patients into their office. As we all know, when you go to the doctor, you find someone that's a good fit and you follow them all over for whatever need you have. So I'm trying to make it more accessible, right? Because healthcare has a lot of challenges. And accessibility is one of those, and especially if you live in a rural, smaller town, it can be challenging to find specialists that help you with all the different things that can happen to our bodies. So my focus is to help them get online, expand their reach. So I really spend a lot of time crafting email campaigns, crafting social media campaigns, and focusing more on that. And it's more of a virtual, right? So for their brick and mortar, their actual practice, we do a lot more like paper mailing, we do reminder cards, we do, more like things that you would experience through a doctor's office. So I straddle both sides of it, and I try and just feed, we call it feeding the social media and all those channels as much as possible with, authenticity, with just being really real of who you are in your business. I think that's a huge piece that people will miss, is they'll try and craft their business like Google's doing it, or these other businesses, because they're billion-dollar companies, that's, you know, but it's a lot of work, and you need a lot of people, and do you want to hire, you know, all those people? Anyway, we're gonna dig into all that fun stuff today.
I'm Michelle Svensson and I need her. I own North Jenny Brewing and I also have recently opened the Inspired Mind Matters Wellness and Yoga Studio. So I really need to do some marketing. I'm trying to get word out there of what we're doing with stress reduction and movement and mindfulness and meditation. Really exciting things, breath work and ice bath therapy coming up, kids classes coming up. So I need marketing.
Yay, we all do. Can we unmute all or one? I don't know if we are muting them.
Are they on
On the
mute?
Zoom.
Say what?
The
We need to-
Zoom participants, can we let them speak? Are their microphones muted?
Yeah. Hang on.
Give us a minute, we'll get you. You can unmute yourself if you know how to do that, or we can. do
Yeah, I
it for
gotta
you.
turn up the speaker though,
Give him a minute, he's gonna turn the speaker, so if you're speaking, we may not be able to hear you yet.
and I'm not sure. Speaker we're on.
We'll get it figured out.
I think that's it.
I also do a lot of training on how to use Zoom, so you know, it's
You
been fun.
and me are gonna be great.
I
friends.
worked with a lot of the middle school teachers who struggled a bit when
Yeah.
COVID started, they were.
It's
thrown
a lot
into
of Zoom.
it
I'm not sure
last
why it's
minute,
hitting.
So it's very challenging to get in there. Just trying to figure out what speaker they would come through.
The only one who's blocked is Shannon Aher. So if you go over here, yep, she's unblocked. Okay.
Yeah,
If one of them
Um,
speaks as we can see.
How about Shannon? Why don't you introduce yourself first and then Carla?
Hi, I am Shannon Ahern, and I'm also here with Peggy in the office. We had things that needed to be attended to today. Marcia's Free Museum, and we're here just to get ideas.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. Help,
Thank you.
yeah,
thank you.
good ideas.
I'm Carla Jensen. I own the Mermaid Inn and RV Park, and we have a water leak, so I have to stay close by while it's being repaired. So I'm online instead of with y'all. I am looking for information on marketing the motel RV park better. And then also I'm the president of the Long Beach Merchants. And so always looking for ideas to glean for that as well.
We had a third person. Is there a third person?
No.
No, just two.
Those two, but two are together.
Two
Shannon
are
and
the
Peggy.
same, I gotcha.
Shannon and Peggy are
Okay.
together.
Okay.
Peggy didn't talk. You want to talk, Peggy?
Hi, this is round two for me.
She's like,
Collect more information.
excellent, excellent. Okay, so the PowerPoint that you don't have, which I could put on the screen, but that seems a lot of work. Basically, I just kind of give you a few reminders from the handout that I gave last time, and I will get the handout out to you guys as well, if you don't have a copy of the ones from last time. Very exciting stuff. So basically just reminders of one of the big misses that people make is that they're like, well, everyone else is doing the same thing. So you're making cupcakes, or you know, are one of many shops in Long Beach, or another inn, or, you know, whatever. Figure out what makes you unique, right? That's the piece that will help you stand out, especially if you're doing social media or something else. You need to make your unique voice in the community strong and really lean into that. Use that as your primary marketing strategy, especially if you're getting going. For you, all of you guys that have businesses that are kind of already moving, figure out what you can do to kind of take it, you know, to the next level. We talked a lot about Jake and Marcia's Museum using Jake and the stickers and all that stuff last week. That's huge, right? Because Jake is unique to Marcia's Museum, and then giving a voice to that in a way that resonates with the community, right? Not everyone is going to appreciate all the things about Jake and all the events that you've done, but there's going to be specific things, like the stickers are huge, they're all over the world, so that's obviously one piece that is unique and stands out among the sea of gift shops and novelty places, things in that same niche, right?
Do we need an animated talking Jay? He has his own voice.
It's kind of one of those things that like, could that be cute or scary, or like, are you going for more of the Halloween side, horror show side? Are you going, yeah, so, I mean, I think it's all an experiment, and it's catering to those different niches, right? And but in the end, is that what the people who work and love and breathe, live Jake's and Marsh's Museum, is that what they want? Is
I think
that
it's
where
all
they're
about
going? Like
actually
you,
physically meeting the actual Jake,
right,
rather than having something else out there that replaces him. You have to
Right.
come here
right,
to meet
Yeah.
Jake, because they're not doing an online business at this point. They're doing strictly brick and mortar,
they
so.
do a few online
A few,
orders,
yeah,
Peggy was saying
yeah.
too, and that's, we were talking about that last 2
Mhm.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Of, is that feasible, right?
Right.
Because we talked about fulfillment, and as it scales, is that something that's possible to do? So, taking into all those count, there's nothing wrong with pivoting, as they say,
Mhm.
being like, this didn't work, we're gonna shift to completely over to here. It may, you may see a decrease in your sales, but in the end, it could be a huge win to make that shift. A little painful in the time when I'm making a pivot from one of my clients right now, and it's a little scary, but we're gonna be fine. Everything will be fine. Okay, and then I just list out a few things like life hacks. If you guys are social media people, people put in simple things of how to do something that people just don't think of, right? And so things like learning how to cut an onion the correct way, how to, do these, different things. It may seem silly, it's something you've done, your mom taught you, your grandma taught her, and you've been doing it your whole life, but then you put it on social media and suddenly it's like this viral thing and it draws attention. Obviously, for my business, I probably wouldn't talk about cutting onions because I'm not a chef and I have nothing to do with food. But so you need to find those things that have helped, your business, and if you're doing wellness and center.
Teach people how to breathe.
Right, which is, it's silly and it's own thing.
I
and
just don't
it's
know how to make the
simplicity.
video.
Right,
I don't know how to get it from video form to something fun on
Right.
Instagram.
right,
That's
Right.
where my block is. I can make the video,
yeah,
but then I spend an hour trying to
Yeah.
make a thing on Instagram and then I hate it.
Yeah.
I delete it and I wasted an hour.
It
That's where I'm
happens, it happens, but it's a learning opportunity and you have to take it at that, but it is frustrating and it's like, my time is worth a lot of money. And you can look at what other people do and use those, like there's
I do. I
some
love
interesting breathing exercises online right now, and people, have done some pretty cute ones for kids and all that, which is awesome. But how do you do that
do you make
yourself?
the
And
video?
yeah, exactly.
How do you get the words on the screen at the
That's a
right time?
whole Other thing. A lot of my clients, when they have to record a video, myself or one of the team will sit with them and be their audience and like kind of give them some feedback. I think it's hard to just stare into video camera and be animated and be yourself and use your own voice and really come across, because even if you copy someone else's breathing video exactly, you still want to bring your own, right?
I don't
Voice
need
and style and all that. But how they're doing it, right? Because that's the trick. It's like, break that down and like really talk about it. Plus making people don't want to breathe in the right way
I know.
or meditate or do right.
I
I mean,
know.
this is, I've been working on this for years. Okay, and then keeping it simple, right? You don't have to have a designer, like my clients hire these really expensive designers and it's lovely, it's very beautiful. It's not printable, it can't be reproduced in a million different ways. If you can keep it simple, especially in the beginning, early stages of your business, don't make your logo something that can't be reproduced on all the platforms, right? It should be printable, it should fit on a business card, it should be on your website. It should work for all the things, that you don't have to change it, right? To adapt it to all those pieces. Because again, you're investing more of your money, more of your effort into that, which maybe that's going to shift as your business grows and changes and you've spent now, $5,000 and thousands of hours crafting this beautiful logo,
And website.
and you got yeah, and websites too, right? It goes across the board. If you're gonna do something, start, really simple and don't invest.
I got a $4,000 website when I was a coach.
Yeah.
And now I have a studio and I had to go back in with the people and totally recreate the
Edit,
website.
yeah, and there's now you've got, Squarespace, even WordPress has like a beginning website package where you basically pay $50, you get 20 themes, you don't get everything you've ever wanted, but you get your 20 themes, you can get your site up and find out, is a website how people are really gonna find
And
it?
it's
Is that
easy
my
to use.
investment?
That
Super
original
easy, right,
plan is
right.
super easy to use if you don't have to put a calendar on it or events or
Right.
anything. And I think my original website looked great, just from the cheap, easy one. I used
Yeah.
it for quite a while.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, yeah, I think that's putting a lot of money into, adjacent to the core business things is hard, and it's hard to hold yourself back from. I find myself a time like messing around with this PowerPoint, right? Took me forever just because I am particular about and it's like black and white. It's color, it's really pretty. It's black and white here. But I shouldn't have, right? Because really it's the content, it's the words on the page, those pieces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of local people. He's trying to find who that is. A lot of local people starting out, really, a Facebook page does about as much for you as a website, because local people go to Facebook here to find out what's currently happening, and very few of them, we've developed people going to our website here for the Peninsula Arts Center, but that isn't their first go-to.
Right.
But we make them more dependent on it because you can reserve tickets there and you can do this, and you can only do those things there, not on Facebook.
Right. And I think that's smart because you want people to, going to your main primary page. There's gonna be moments where you can't necessarily update everything, especially last minute changes, things like that. But yeah, exactly. The Facebook, your Instagram, those things are pretty popular here on the peninsula. And so feeding that and making your website kind of secondary, especially in the beginning, speaking more about new businesses, if you already have a website, kind of feel happy with what you have, maybe add some features like a calendar, whatever you need in that time. But try to resist getting sucked into making, rebuilding the whole thing again. And one of the ways to do that is to really look at what is your return on investment, your ROI. Are you, if you're putting $10,000 into your website, are you getting that money back? And until you've covered that cost, you probably shouldn't invest more money into it because it's not covering your costs. It's not making you any money at this point.
I had the opportunity to revise major revision to the EDC website this last year and a half with some grant money.
Okay.
And so I have no staff to do regular updates to the website kind of thing. So small content updates, that kind of thing. So I had a goal, especially since I'm EDC, there's a lot of data that I'm putting on there, like demographic data about the county. So instead of looking for the most accurate information, like to the tiniest degree, I used wherever I could census data because it only gets updated every 10 years. So I'm gonna put census data, so I don't have to update the website for 10 years. And what we did is, and I wish I knew how to do this more, but I know that this is the thing, it's been very useful to me. To not have to put calendars, event announcements, a lot of things like that on the website. I just put the Facebook feed, the social media feeds on the page.
Right.
And then if you go to the website, you can get the most current data. It's just in a live feed.
Right.
But you don't have to, I don't have to update the website itself.
Right.
It just automatically feeds. Anything that you can get to feed automatically is a good thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of tools you can use to pull in feeds from like things you post on Facebook, things you post, outside. But.
I don't think that's
you know,
used enough, and
things
it
that
would be useful here.
Mhm,
Yeah, and especially since we have these two markets, we have the local market
mhm,
and everybody else.
yeah,
And so having the local market is imperative.
Yeah.
And having the everybody else market is also imperative, and they're like two totally different
right,
ways to reach them. And so I think like every business has to kind of look at
both, yeah.
both.
We have
and-
2 Facebook pages for
Yeah.
Margetti. We have kind of the locals, and then we have the main one that's like distribution in Portland and Seattle and Southern Oregon, and but the main one has like all the details and more details of the actual events, like more of the trivia stuff, and because if they're in Portland and they don't care that we're having a trivia and they
Right.
click on it, we kind of fall out of their feet.
Shannon, do you use Facebook or a website to promote your business, or is it? How are you doing it right now?
We do have a website, and I was just able, just real recently recover our Facebook. I was blocked out of it. But so we're working on that. I mean, we're even working on brochure because we haven't had a brochure in forever. Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, we had a little coffee spill that distracted us for a second,
We're with you.
but yeah. No, I was just
Okay.
curious, because I can see, you know, getting out there on Facebook and Instagram, making a big difference to Marcia's.
Yeah, it's it's a whole different job or another job. Cause so looking for the one of maybe our employees here that can kind of keep up on it, more than I am able to, is what I'm looking into now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a huge piece, and that's, if you can find, even a reliable high school kid or someone that's, going to college for marketing and, you'll, not pay as much hourly for that work. Or even finding somebody who's already taking marketing classes at college or something like that needs to do it. This, younger people were born into this, right? Like my son's
Right.
14, that kid can do more on the internet than I've ever even thought of doing. It's insane. He edits all my YouTube videos. He does, he works for me.
Right.
Child labor.
He might be into it, actually. He's just kind of dipping his toe in like, I need to get a job because he ran out of money from his last job, so. Now he's getting desperate because how's he gonna go Subway? Carla, do you talk to us a little bit about do you have a Facebook page and all that for Mermaid, and or other businesses that you run?
Yeah, I moderate 11 Facebook pages.
Just going all in.
And then we have a website that has booking engine on it.
Nice, great.
And I need to delve into the Instagram TikTok world, but that requires time.
It's a thing, yeah. Yeah, same. I mean, these high school kids are getting out for the summer, just saying. I will be diving more into the high school to try and figure out how to connect the kids more with the community and people that need that kind of help. Because they don't have a great system yet. It's like for certain jobs they do, but like for online jobs, these kids, they all get a Google Chromebook for their school. So they all have a great computer to do all this stuff for you guys.
There's a job
such a
fair
huge
happening at the end of this month.
Yes, and
And-
Natasha's,
Natasha's working on it, we're working
she
on
was
it.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Here.
So we could maybe set up a table for kids that would be willing to do hourly online
That could be really
stuff.
interesting.
and just make a list and they can Yeah, maybe. Let me think about
How
that.
do we, yeah, it's tricky with kids.
And they
It's
have to
very
give them
tricky
access.
with them.
You have to give them access.
You have to get parental permission for what they.
You have to give them access to your administrative access to your, so.
Well, we might be able to create an intern program. It's a little bit complicated, but there's models. And that way the kids could join the intern program and then there's an adult that matches them.
Right,
So
yeah.
maybe
It could be
we
really
could talk about that.
Interesting.
We have.
And the
what,
adult doesn't-
more than a week.
Well,
That's time.
well, the adult doesn't necessarily have to know Facebook, they just have to make sure that
Right.
nothing in error or profane goes on the. up on the
Right,
Facebook.
right, and just, supporting
Yeah.
the kids when they aren't sure, like how to, it's also coaching them with a job. Because
Right,
a lot of these kids, like my son has, he's works for me, but he doesn't work for people.
I can't get my Facebook to also post to my Instagram, even though it says it will. It's a liar.
It's not posting to both,
No,
even though
and
you've got the
so
little flag checked.
I have 3 pages. I have the company page, the page that was set up before there was a company page. And the Instagram, right? And so every time I do a post, I have to have time to create an original post in each one of those
Right,
pages.
so if you.
So Carla has 11, so she wins, but but even
5.
you have 5.
My party shed has its own Facebook page.
It's a lot of work to
Yeah.
try to maintain content because
Yeah.
I'm trying to maintain a lot of content lately and I have to do it myself.
Yeah. Carla, with those 11 Facebook pages, you said you're not using Instagram yet. Do you cross post on anything else or you're just posting in Facebook? As far as do you use any tools to help you post to all your pages rather than going into each one?
A little of both. I mean, a lot of them are very different. So, because I run festivals and then the Merchants Association, but the Merchants Association now has somebody doing all of that. So yay. Those are kind of off my plate. And so I mostly just have the motel, and when I'm doing it right, I schedule them a week or 2 weeks in advance and I don't
Right.
think about them.
Nice.
But I haven't done that since I opened the motel. Well, I guess since COVID.
Yeah, good.
Do you do Instagram too or just Facebook?
I have a personal Instagram page. I
Oh.
don't have a business page yet.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So I use Canva. And then
Okay,
I can
nice.
post both. So you just resize, you make a Facebook, whatever you want to do. You can do any video, but I can't get videos out. But I'll make a post, I'll resize it from a Facebook post to an Instagram post, and you can post it straight from Canva to your Instagram. And
Can you tell everybody what Canva is?
Canva is amazing. Canva, you can get a free Canva account. I use Pro because I use it to make journals that are on Amazon. I also use it to make my workbooks and my journals for my coaching clients. And I make the posters for the studio, but it's, you can make any kind of flyer, document, Facebook post, Instagram post, video. You just say what you want to make from a drop-down menu, or you start typing. There's thousands and thousands of images, fonts. It is super easy to use, and if you play in a little bit and you kind of get confused, just go to YouTube. There's training on Canva, but if you go to YouTube, you can find anything you want to do. There's some licensing issues, so there's certain things you can and can't do with the pictures. But it tells you on every picture what you can do. Yeah, and it's free. It's free. If you want to pay and it's $150 a year, you get more images. You wouldn't need them. There are thousands of images. There's thousands of templates. You don't have to, you can just say what kind of template you want to make, put in your own pictures, put on your own logo. You can upload pictures, upload logo. I cannot tell you how much my life changed with Canva.
It's huge.
It's
really, really nice.
mind blowing that
And
it's
easy.
free. Yeah.
Once you get the hang of how to drag
Oh.
things out and you
It's
can
so
upload
fun.
your own pictures in there
Yeah.
too.
And you can
how to
upload-
stack them. It's
You can
really great.
upload a picture and just hit one button and take the entire background out, so it's just you. Unlike when you used to have to like trace a picture. You just say remove background and the background's gone, and you can put yourself or whatever it is
Over the top.
over the top of any picture, and there's thousands and thousands of pictures. There's elements, there's realistic elements, there's cartoony elements, there's line drawings. I
It's
cannot
really fun
tell you how much I love Canva, and you can just go right to social.
from there.
I didn't know you could do social media posts on Canva.
Yeah.
What is your favorite free software?
I really like Canva. I do a lot of stuff in Canva, as far as posting stuff goes. But most of my clients hire insanely expensive designers to do a lot of the work, so it's silly. I do make all the designers, instead of giving me like InDesign AI files, I have them put it into Canva as a template, so I can use that design over and over for other things. I swap it out, which has changed my life. I did list, and you guys you'll get the handout, so sorry that we didn't get them to you ahead of time, but I was at a wedding and I just totally lost track of everything. There's 2 pages with just tools listed out, and I put later in here. Later is one of those tools that lets you schedule across all your social media, more if you're going beyond just Facebook and Instagram, because Facebook and Instagram can post to each other, and then you can use Canva. Later is more of like, you need to set up a calendar and you want to post every day for 30 days, and you can fill it all in, and it'll post to the same ones. You can choose which Facebook group or page or whatever you're posting to, and you can schedule it all out in there, which is amazing to be able to schedule ahead with Facebook, because it can post to Instagram. You can schedule it in Facebook, and then you can schedule it out to post. Sometimes if you are doing a lot of posting, Later is nice because it's this calendar format that lets you kind of schedule everything. And then there's, there's a few other ones that are, Hootsuite's a free one that you can start with. Hoot like an owl, and Suite like a hotel suite. It's a good one too. It also does the calendar piece. They're kind of both similar. And Later has a free thing too, but I've never been able to use the free because I have too many posts that I do for that one. But it's a great way to go.
I have a favorite free piece of software.
Survey thing. I didn't put in here because I forgot the name of it. So it was
Cognito,
Cognito.
and it's actually forms.
Yes.
So if you, for example, to register for this webinar, I create a form for free, online form. It looks like a form. You can set it up to attach documents or put links in. It'll send a thank you, you're registered, or whatever kind of response. And it feeds into essentially an Excel database that is permanently in the cloud. And so you can track all your data. It's amazing. It's easy. The forms look professional. You can put your logo on them. If there's a free version and an upgraded version. I don't even know what magical things the upgraded version can do, but I've used it probably for about 10 different things now. And I have not had one glitch. Nobody had problems accessing it.
Right.
It is like my favorite free software ever.
That would be huge for collecting feedback from any customer to any business, right? Like, you want to get their feedback, candid feedback, and people seem to, much like social media, overshare in these forms. They're not necessarily going to tell you in person because it can be awkward. So sending a form, but you would have to collect their email or some way to get the form to them. And so that's kind of a process in and of itself. I know. But it will help you to kind of develop what, especially for the locals, what do they really want if they can figure it out. A lot of people don't know what they want till you tell them what do they want, which is great. I love telling people what they want. But in the broader scope, even tourists coming in, you know, one-off people coming through, it's great to get an outside perspective on what they felt, you know, what bugged them. You know, if you run a hotel or inn or Airbnbs or any of those, you get a lot of weird stuff where you're like, really, you're mad because I didn't have a spatula. That makes me mad too. Just FYI. Those things are important to get that feedback. It's huge.
Since you work with a kind of a niche profession, that's an emerging profession. There's similarities between them. So there's essentially a universal brand, right? In addition to the individual brand.
Right.
And one of the things that that some communities do is establish a community brand or even a county brand. How helpful is that? How useful? I mean, obviously there's places like Leavenworth, right? And they decide they're gonna go all in.
Yeah.
And be this.
Yeah.
Germanic mountain town.
Right.
And it worked.
Yeah.
You know, there's greater and lesser, at Cannon Beach, there's gonna be the artist community, right? Doesn't matter if it's true, that's the brand they've chosen and it
Right.
works for them.
Right.
And so that sort of branding helps all the local businesses attached to that.
Yeah.
Is that, how important is that? How important is that?
It depends if you align, right? So like, take naturopaths in Portland, right? They don't agree on really anything.
Well, that's okay, they don't agree on that internationally.
Right.
But
So,
neither does anybody else.
It depends on your niche, right? So if you think of it in terms of like a franchise, right? If you buy into a franchise, I have a Subway here in Long Beach. I get the benefits of the bigger national Subway, right? They market, they do coupons, oh, and the Ace right here. So it's an Ace hardware really, but we all call it by various names, whatever we knew when we were growing up here. So their marketing is also based on the franchise, but they can do local stuff as well. And then Long Beach has its own, you know, appearance in the world. And so I think leaning into that is great for a lot of businesses if they align with it, right? Because there's also businesses that are on the fringe, right? They kind of have their own thing going. I mean, which is not necessarily negative, because now I'm going to say Marsh's Museum. Marsh's Museum has its own presence going, right? They have Jake's, they have all the little animal heads and things going on, like they're kind of making their own weird happening in a good way. I come from Portland, weird is cool. So we, you know, in a good way, you want to have that representing. So leaning too far into the bigger Long Beach might not be for the best for them, depending on what direction Long Beach goes. Right?
Well, I was gonna say Long Beach, kind of the overreaching is turn of the century beach town.
Yeah.
And I think that keeping it weird is really important. I mean, a little bit funky and more traditional.
Preserving.
But we also want to provide some of the amenities that the new people coming to town have, and keeping that balance. I think having a really clear vision of what is it we love about this place. And a lot of it's the traditional silly beach things that are what we remember from a kid. You know, I'm sorry, but the grab boxes at Marsh's are my tradition. Anytime somebody comes here for the first time, I don't care if they're $50, we're buying it and we got some plastic little worms. I don't care. That's what we did as kids, you know, so I think that that's huge here, but we don't want to look, you know, we're not backward. We have plenty of things for everybody else, but this is why you come here, not on a beach.
Yeah, and so I think it is a decision for your business, but I don't see a downside in most cases to hitching your wagon to the bigger truck that's pulling everybody forward, right? And especially for Long Beach, when people are coming in from the outside, it can be very disorienting of like, we have that main strip, but there's a lot going on off of that.
Where does Seaview end and Long
Right,
Beach start,
right.
and how far is Ocean Park? And
And
we
they,
get these
you know,
questions at the brewery.
they're
the
like,
whole
String of
time.
I'm
villages.
trying to
Yeah.
get to Waco and they're just
Yeah.
confused and they don't know which way to go and they end up.
Or they didn't go far enough.
Yeah, they're like, we saw the hospital, we turned around.
Yeah.
It was just over.
So from what I'm hearing you say, so we have other communities in the county
Mhm.
who wanna build their tourism industry in their communities.
Right,
And so part of their options for marketing is to hook their bandwagon to Long Beach then.
Yeah.
As the bigger brand.
Are you?
Stop on your way to Long Beach and have lunch here.
Oh, yeah.
Right
in
next
terms
to-
of the
Well, there's
peninsula.
the South Bend
Radiator
Range
out.
area, there's Ocean Park wants to do more.
Right.
And as the EDC, the ideal thing to help build the tourism in those areas is to build lodging. Because lodging generates more revenue to the area for tourism, and so what would make people stop and stay the night on their way here? And I'm just thinking out loud.
yeah.
Yeah, and how do you do that in an area where people aren't used to working together
Mhm.
towards something? I mean, they go, oh no, there's another art gallery opening, it's gonna be in competition. No, it's going to make us have more art galleries, which means more
Yeah.
people who buy art are gonna come here.
Right.
And I think that that is also true of the individual villages and towns that we have. It's like, we don't wanna be identified with them, we want our own identity.
Right.
Well, but do you want money?
Right.
You know,
But think of all the, other towns, I won't mention them by name, that have maps to the galleries, right? You
Right.
can hop along, like, that's brilliant. Maps of the vintage stores,
Mhm.
maps of stores that have specific things, right? These
Right.
are the estate stores, these are the clothing, these are the, whatever it is. Like, I love those maps, those are maps. They're great. I think that's, I think it supports everyone, but
Mhm.
you're right, everybody has to be open to being on the
Right.
map. and
right, and
participating in kind
clustering
a
of like
common-
businesses, having statistics on how clustering of like businesses matters and how. Yeah, the kinds of places you need for stopover on the way to a bigger destination.
Mhm.
There are towns that have made all of their money off of being the stopover on the way to this other thing.
Yeah.
So that's great from that standpoint.
Mhm.
Well, and I'm thinking about abundance as you're having these conversations, that more is better for everyone.
Mhm.
It's yes and,
Yeah.
not competing, not excluding. That's an intentional change.
The county may have to loosen some restrictions on businesses though to get people to actually come.
I think that is.
Not in Long Beach, but I mean countywide, it's hard.
Incentivizing,
Yeah,
there's things you can do to get people more involved and see it as a benefit rather than a negative. So that's where the trick is figuring out what it is and getting those people into the same room, whether it's on Zoom or in person, to have a conversation about, and opening it up like this, where, we're talking about all of our different businesses trying to be, open and sharing as much as we can. We don't share all of our secrets, but a lot of the, things that are used that we're finding works for our business. They may not work for everybody else's, and this may not be what some businesses are ready for. They just may not be that place in their business where they're still feeling like. I encourage my clients to give away a lot of things, like there's no point in not giving away the breathing exercises and teaching all these people how to do it. Because if they are feeling better, they're gonna be able to access more of the services that you're giving.
Well, if I give away
So-
free breathing and then at the end say, hey, by the way, I'm doing a
Yes.
breath for longevity workshop. If you
Yes.
want to learn more about breathing.
one of the best things I did with my dog grooming shop in Vancouver was to teach for free. Well, no, actually, it wasn't free, I charged them. I had to think about that, how to groom their own pet. And by the end of the lesson, they said, I will never groom my own pet. Ever.
Right.
I am your client for life, because they
don't have to
found out
do
how much got done.
Right. right?
That they didn't know I was doing
Yeah,
and how much work it.
sign people that do a little bit, but you know, they'll never nail trim their cat, or they'll
Right.
never do this part of it, or they, you know, can never get the ears to be in the right fluff, whatever.
Right.
It, you know, that, I don't think. For the health niche, there's never been a moment where we regretted sharing the exact steps we would do in this
Mhm.
workshop that we were charging, you know, like $800 for them to come to. We told them everything. They still bought it and came to the workshop because
Absolutely.
they want to be there with you experiencing this, and it's, you know, it's like Pilates or anything else. There's these subtle things that you can't get if you're not there. And if you have someone that you really buy into, an expert, I mean, I follow a lot of people that do all these things and I'm like, okay, it's amazing. Do I do it? Do I do my breath work? Do I do it? No, but so I sign up for the class and I go there and they force me to do it. For
Right.
45 minutes. So I think it's, you know, if you can figure out that thing. Marcia's does a great job of, you know, having all these their little shells they give for free and all those things. I mean, Drew carries them around his pocket and anytime he's like, we gotta go back to Marcia's, I don't know where my shell is. I'm like, we don't leave Marcia's without dropping $100, so no. But we go frequently, don't worry. But yeah, it's interesting what you can kind of build on and make it that thing.
Costco did it with all the free,
All the
samples,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know, Carla, if you thought about, I mean, you did for a little while, you were doing kind of the concierge clam digging. But something that you uniquely offer rather than after all the other hotels are full, you know, that you're this wonderful little haven. But creating something that's super unique
Yeah,
about,
it's brilliant.
yeah, because you are unique. It's just how do you get that across to people?
Well, I'm figuring out that thing that works, like if the clam digging becomes. That seems like a lot of work to me, but.
Yeah.
If you love clam digging, then that's totally fun for you, then great. I can send my mom along next time you guys do it. Lighthouse Resort started doing pickleball, right?
Pickleball.
So they can stay and play, and
Mhm.
that's been great, like it's building. I start my beginner class next week, very excited.
I'm gonna start one, I think, too. I haven't
There's still
actually,
room for next week, so
done
maybe you
anything.
can come pickleball with me.
what days and time, well, we'll talk.
Yeah, I'll give you the schedule. They're still trying to fill my little group, but anyway, it'll be fine. This is their second one, so they're definitely filling them up. I mean, we have 2 groups this time, they had 3 last time. But it's a niche, right? It's working for them. It's this gimmick that is real. And
Or
it's,
Southwester.
you know, or yeah, Southwester, they've got their record players and they have all those records in the thing and VHS tapes. And
Vintage
their
trailers.
vintage trailers and their music series, they have music in the grass there. which is
Artisan
super fun.
residence.
So they've created this niche, right? And they, you know, saved all of us parents during COVID by taking my child and helping him do his school online. It was amazing. It's a huge resource. Now they have the art center on the other side, which is also preschool, and they're doing all sorts of fun stuff over there.
It's what I always said about that needed to be a summer camp for adults.
Mhm.
That's what it is.
I love that place. We do a lot of art classes there.
I had a question back on.
Yep.
The tools.
Yep.
I just remembered, is any of the surveys through Facebook, are there any of those that are effective for people who don't have an email list, but they do want to get a notion,
Yeah,
and can you
definitely.
target, you know, just your area and so there's a survey tool through Facebook. Can you tell me about that? Because I've never used it.
Yeah, it's kind of shifted. It's a different thing than what we've been using. So now in the Facebook, we give them the link to SurveyMonkey or Cognito or one of those and have them go out.
Oh, okay.
Because the problem with the Facebook one that I struggle with is I need it to alert the right person. And so it sends an email and then give me the link of where to go and look at the surveys.
Oh,
And that piece, Facebook, it kind of just sits in there and you have to kind of dig for it.
Oh, no.
With Meta and all that other stuff they got into
Yeah.
Facebook.
But then you're also
kind
getting
of abandoned.
emails, right, which you can't
Right.
do if you don't have
Right.
disclaimers on your Facebook.
You can, if, as long as you put that disclaimer in when that post is what I do. So when I give them a link to MailChimp, Cognito, whatever my survey is, I say it's there. And you don't have to force them to do email. It's nice to collect their email if that's what you're going for. But you can also have them fill out the survey and leave emails optional, like
Okay.
that you know, how you guys have probably seen it in surveys you've taken where you have a little box at the bottom and they ask, do you want us to contact you and in what way?
Mhm.
So there's that. So if they want to have more interaction with you, they could sign up on the newsletter list or whatever. So make sure that is in your survey because they might not read it in the post.
Mhm.
And then a lot of times we give them like little coupons, online coupons and stuff. If you fill out the survey, you get this coupon. And we just put it in the survey. A lot of people don't fill out the survey, still take the coupon. But
Well, we
it's
always
free stuff.
Yeah.
They're still buying something from us. They don't get it for free. They just get a discount off of it. So it's also its own little marketing piece of
Yeah.
like, I want to give you information. Nope, I don't anymore, but I'm using your coupon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer these, just, they're more.
Well, and that's, we've always used Survey Monkey, and so in my candidacy for city council, we did a lot of direct mail stuff that I don't think we're gonna bother with this year. Because, I think I'd get more response off of Facebook survey, because questions are what I want, not, I don't wanna tell them things, I want them to
Right.
ask me things.
Right.
And,
Yeah, I was curious about the mailing here, if it is effective, because it's, you know, community, it's different. Whether mailing like for, you know, your doctor's office sending you a reminder postcard, I miss that. There's a lot of doctors don't do that anymore, so it's kind of annoying. They send me a text, which works, but I do miss the postcard because I put it on my fridge. It was in a few places in my house to remind me.
Just do it.
Yeah. My, so I find there's mailings in certain ways are good, but it may not work for
campaign
this.
survey stuff, most of those ended up in the garbage at the post office. So you know, it's, that's the nice thing about, well, yeah,
You know?
I mean, that's the nice thing about the
Exactly.
post office, because nobody here, hardly anybody here has a mailbox, so you can go to the post office and see what kind of stuff gets
Yeah.
thrown away.
Yeah.
Before they even bother to take it home, there's your
Right.
research.
It's done.
Don't bother, that costs money.
I have a question.
Yeah.
About the, like the Facebook Live things or about. One of the things that people talked about the workshop series is you could also have people log in on Facebook.
Yeah.
And
You can
set the
stream.
webinar, or you can do
Yeah.
fundraising events or marketing events with these little short
Yeah.
videos on. And I am clueless, how effective are they? Is it worth learning about? And how hard is it? And does it cost dollars and all those things?
To stream, it's free. I mean, you can buy apps that stream, Be Live, and all the things are out there that kind of help you do it. You can just do raw Facebook Live and not, you know, edit them. Just be like, I'm gonna send it out to the world as it is. It's fine. And so in that way, it's free. It's your time, right? So you're doing a 30-20 minute, whatever your thing is. It's a presentation. Sometimes we stream an hour and a half training on how to do XYZ on Facebook. And then give them the links, and we have, you know, people moderating in the comments and giving them links to buy this thing, and you know, this, you know, now the doctor talked about this or this or this, and we give them all these links to buy product. We have an affiliate relationship, so the links bring us money. But I find the Facebook is nice, even, you know, just especially for like a last minute reminder of an event coming up, it's tomorrow, you know, it's gonna be great, here's what we know, you know, do a little snippet of their latest, you know, album or whatever your thing is. Showing, you know, doing a Facebook Live showing you bake a cupcake girl, right? The cupcake and making your little cupcakes. I've got these cupcakes fresh out of the oven. Ooh, they smell good. Like just, you know, getting them excited about it. I'm gonna be at the farmer's market in, you know, 30 minutes. Get out here, they'll still be hot. You know, those kind of things are really great for Facebook Live. But you could do it to communicate anything. I mean, I think there's, it's both, right? There's people that respond to video and want to see video and they're not gonna read all these posts in the Facebook stream. And then there's people that are gonna skip over the video, not read it at all. So you're gonna capture different audiences, but you get, because of social media, you get instant feedback, right? Positive and negative, but you get instant feedback. And so managing that is important and, blocking people that are really being trolls and nice. Just take them out. But yeah, I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, it just really, again, goes back to what is your business? Does it fit with what you're trying to do? And is it manageable, right? Are you, you don't have to commit to doing, we're gonna be live every month, we're gonna be live every week, every day, whatever. You can just pop in whenever. It can be very last minute, do it on your phone. It doesn't have to be fancy.
I did one on the
Get in
beach,
that way.
like just to try it out, just to
Yeah.
see what it was like and.
Yeah.
It's not perfect and you can hear the wind, but I wanted to try and I was making myself follow through with it, and it was part of a challenge, the Facebook's a live challenge, and it got a lot of likes.
Yeah.
Just random,
Does
me
it-
on the beach.
Does it show up in people's feed more often when you have video than when you have still shots, and more for still shots than for no
Not
pictures?
necessarily.
I don't really know
That
what they're.
algorithm takes over. So if you're someone that looks at the videos and spends time watching them, the algorithm's gonna put the
Okay.
videos up in your feed,
Okay.
but not necessarily
Okay.
everyone else's,
Yeah.
right? So once I work with a client that has a bunch of videos and I'm watching them on Facebook for them, then suddenly I've got all these videos.
I have a lot of videos on my
Okay.
data animals. Cute things, another cute things,
What I did here
medical things.
in one of the classes that I take, one of the freebie, I take all the freebie classes, was that when you do create something in Canva and it looks very professional, it goes to less people. You find that to be true.
It depends on, what, like, there's a lot of factors to that, but yes, possibly. I mean, and it's authenticity, right, to your brand. Like, are you stepping outside of what you've done before? Will sometimes do that.
I just,
Yeah, it's, we talked about email deliverability, same thing with social post deliverability, right? Putting the words free in there, putting like, I need to bring that whole list of things. There's a couple, I'll add you guys the URLs in here for the deliverability thing. If you talk about, I give you a couple tools on here, but
so see, I do a lot in Canva.
nice.
And then I
like
do some live
this,
pictures.
Your map is huge too, right? Because you also want to try and have like a mix, which you're doing a great job. It's good.
Trying so hard.
So when you're posting on Instagram, because it's all pictures and if you look at a business, what you get are a bunch as a grid, right? With a bunch of pictures. And so you don't want to have a bunch of pictures that are the same, right? You want to have some words, some people, some this, some, mix it up so that you're not, some of them you go into and they've designed it so much that they're all the same color.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just looks
Create
like
your
you
brand.
can't see what's happening. It needs to be like a quilt. It needs to be patchwork together. In this moment, that's trending. They will go back and forth between like, no, it all has to be white background with black text and a, little swooshy thing. Yeah, look. I think you have to be true to your voice, because again, it's standing out, right? If you follow what everybody else is doing, then your page looks like everybody else's page.
But what you can do in Canva.
Wait, are you working for them?
You can create your brand in Canva. You can have a brand board. So you can put all the colors that you like, your logos, the texts that you want to the font that you want to use in all of your posts. And you can do several, many colors, many texts, many images, logos. And then you can go to your brand board and just, when you click on the words, you can say, I want these to be the pink that matches all of the pink in my stuff. Then I want this to be the blue that matches all of the blue. So you can
It'd
create
be really nice to not have to keep going back and searching.
and
for
finding
matching
this
text color.
one little
Color codes, yeah.
where I put wellness studio, where I added it to my logo. Because I haven't made the logo with that, I have to go find that font every time. And
Are you adding teaching Canva classes to your online things that you do?
Look what you volunteered yourself.
Laura found another exercise this morning on Facebook for me to add, and I'm like,
I
no more.
wonder if those Canva classes that Sarah did, like in 2018, are
Yeah.
still around recorded somewhere.
Well, I mean, it's changed a lot, but you just last year.
Probably wouldn't.
They just did a reboot and they added AI, they added all kinds of stuff that you can do. But things got moved and things are different, but the classes on YouTube
They're
are
good
free
classes on
and they're
YouTube.
so good. So if you say, how do I do this in Canva? 50 videos are gonna pop up
Oh, okay.
and it's so easy.
I have another question.
Mhm.
About CRMs, customer relationship management software. Which, oh, you have a page on this, huh? We got one of these things because I worked at a place that used HubSpot.
Uh-huh.
And it was an online college that I was doing some work with. And they could take a pool of contacts from the time they were prospective students
Mhm.
to the time they were alumni donors, and just kind of keep growing the contact list. And you just change the status of the individual, and it was all in one massive database, and it could be, you could search by people that are active students and find out their, get them into the financial aid information, or obviously that was a complicated system.
Right.
But they were using HubSpot,
Mhm.
and since they were using HubSpot, I was looking at all of these little things that HubSpot can do, all kinds of things, and keep track of all of your contacts with people. Now, for Pacific County EDC, one of the things that's true about economic development is that you have to play the long game. And so if you have a conversation with somebody today, they might not get back to you for 2 years, at which point it might be a different me in the role. And it lost all the previous connection or conversation. Or it might be a piece of property that's being developed over a period of years. And so I thought, so we have different, I guess you would call them target markets, right? So we have our local businesses that are already here, prospective businesses, prospective investors, and they have really different needs. So I thought, well, and then we have members, business members. So I thought if we get one of these CRMs, this will help us create the database, and you can keep notes on, here's the last time they called or contacted, I sent them an email on this date. Just brilliant. Only so when I got the new website, it's integrated into the new website link, and it's called Active Campaign, and I can't figure out how to do anything with it. So that's the end of my story.
You're the ones she uses.
Um,
Simplero and Kartra,
so
That can tell me.
right there.
Active Campaign, yeah, is an interesting duck. So Simplero and Kartra would be more for people that are selling product, whether it's e-commerce. So whether it's online course or physical product, that's where Simplero and Kartra come into play.
So
HubSpot-
no tooth marshes for your future business.
It's out. HubSpot could do it as far as the note taking. You might want to look at software that's more geared for salespeople, like Salesforce or something like that. Because the CRM's focus is on the notes for the individual contacts versus what did they buy. And like Simplero has a great tracking and runs all these beautiful spreadsheets about all of your data and all the buying things. But if you want to put a note on an individual, like I called and talked to them, blah, 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 it's lost in this other weird area that's so annoying.
I think you misunderstood the
So-
question.
Yes.
The question is,
Come back,
my
bring it
web
back.
guy said,
Yep,
this is the one that you're getting.
is HubSpot or constant?
Is
Active
active
Campaign?
campaign. And so Now, how do
How
I
do you use
make it do anything?
So is Web Guy going to help you set up Active Campaign to do this, or you need somebody to help you set up Active Campaign to do this? I mean, YouTube will take care of you, but if you wanted an actual person, so
I don't,
Active
Or if you
Campaign-
told him,
I don't
this
know.
other one is already ready to go, please install this
use
in
that
my
instead.
website.
How is it connected to the website? Is it because that's the forms? He set up the forms, like people fill out their name and email, that's what's connected to. Active
That's
Campaign. Yeah,
fed in,
and he probably doesn't know
Membership
how to use any other one.
purchases are in.
Web devs who actually decide the rest of your business for you.
I
Okay,
really
so-
thought about it too. I
Active
really said,
Campaign
hey, I don't know
fine.
this one, I know this other one, and at least I understand what it can
Yeah.
do.
It's.
And it has all these free marketing templates.
Right,
So you can make infographics and you can do all these things with HubSpot, and there are millions of videos and great help chat, and there's a
Yeah.
free version even.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool,
so
but,
there's
okay,
a
so.
integration between your website and whatever software you choose. And this particular person may have already used the form code, which is a piece of software code, and put it in your website. But this person could, depending on how open they are to your suggestions, use the code from HubSpot, that strip of code, it's like 2 lines of blah, 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 and stick it where he had Active Campaign. There's really no reason he can't switch it out to HubSpot for you.
If we did, after we spent all this time entering people into the other one, would we be able to export the
Just
content?
export it over.
So it is possible to change software if we decide this isn't the one.
Yes,
That's part of
I
my
mean,
question.
it's whether you wanna, you know. Is that, yeah, is
So-
that gonna rock the boat with your web person if you
Yeah,
really like
maybe.
them, blah, 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 you know, like I've.
If you're paying them.
I was gonna say, are you paying them?
Is it possible is question one. Question two is, in your thinking, how important is a CRM? There's things I fall in love with when I see what they can do, and then you maybe actually get it or you get access to it, and it
Right.
can do cool stuff, but nobody does it,
It's not
so
what I,
it's
yeah.
not useful.
Well, the things you think you want and the things you actually need are gonna be different things until you get into it, right? So Active Campaign has a place where you could create a note area and da. It's just, it's a bigger learning curve than HubSpot, and there's another one. It's totally escaping right now, something about customer hub or something, it's a similar name, anyway. Their primary focus for that software is on what you're talking about, taking notes to the customers, being able to like track them and through their journey.
I
So,
think, I'm not selling them anything, I just kept saying.
well, not to sell them, it's a relationship software, so HubSpot's more based on the relationship, it'll let you track. When you sent an email, if you sent like a mass email versus you sending a personal email to somebody to have communication, it'll let you track like all of those interactions, micro interactions, we call them. So if you made a phone call, you could also put a note in that I called them on this day, we had this conversation. So when somebody takes over from you, they're gonna see, oh, Sue talked to this person on this day, and they can see the whole history of like, oh, they got a broadcast email, then they got a personal email from Sue. Then this person called them to talk about blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know if that's what you're thinking, but
Yeah,
this software would do it. Active Campaign, it's gonna be rougher to try and make that, like, they don't have a place where you can see the communication, because Active Campaign is like Shopify, and the others, their focus is more on product and selling and that kind of thing. A lot of my naturopaths love Active Campaign. I don't know why, because it's cheap and it doesn't do what they want it to do. I don't know, they kind of like to torture themselves. But they don't know any better, right?
self-torture.
So,
I
right?
do know a lot of the past, and I do like to torture themselves.
I think a lot of people will just, like, the web person says, this is one we're doing, and you just roll with it because you think they know what, but they haven't asked you what you want to do in the software, and there's so many
So
options out
these,
there.
but these kinds of software,
Yeah.
are they important? How important are they?
So they are important for specific businesses, so obviously
So what about her business?
I don't
doctors,
keep emails.
your wellness center, you may want to start tracking people that come in and what they're doing and know what classes they took, what classes they didn't take, like some of that tracking may become important, but not day one.
Right.
Like,
Well,
right?
we're a co-op, so
So,
we don't,
okay.
I don't employ the yoga teachers.
Okay,
They pay me a little bit of rent and they keep all their money. They take their money, they get their clients. I don't feel like it's
so
my
they're,
place to take their
they're
money from the
keeping,
work that they've done.
they're keeping their own lists, your instructors that come
Yeah,
in.
they pay me rent and then they have the insurance policy with the additional insurance
Yeah.
that they require. And then I'll
Yeah.
promote them on my page, absolutely.
Yeah.
But they bring in their clients, they take one of them, or both of them are now taking cash and Venmo, or I take cash, Venmo, credit card. So everybody's gonna be their own entity.
Individual, yeah, yeah.
What
So
about for
you
somebody
just-
like Carla who has a hotel, and hotels are very big on return
Yeah.
business.
Carla, do you have some sort of list that you keep of people that have stayed with you? Do you use software for that, or you just
I just
That's
started
great.
MailChimp
MailChimp?
and
Yeah.
I just sent out my first email a month ago.
Nice. Okay,
Is
yeah,
MailChimp free or do you have to pay?
it's free up to, what is it, 2,000?
I think it's 1,500 now.
1,500 now. It
Cause I do
keeps
have a
going down.
list. I have the founders, the North Jetty founders, I send
Okay.
out. 4 times a year, I send out here's what we're up to. Yeah. But I keep it all in a spreadsheet.
Yeah, MailChimp or Constant Contact is kind of your, they still offer you free for, you know, a couple thousand people, but after that you pay. It's not that expensive and it's pretty easy to use. And MailChimp also has the journey where you wanted to look up an individual person and figure out like, are they opening my emails? Is anything happening? You could look and do some analysis with that, which is nice. Constant Contact too. MailChimp's just much easier, a lot of like bubbles and things, it tells you what to do, which I love.
Carla, what's your questions? We've been neglecting our people online.
I think Carla is,
Multitasking.
AWK, away from keyboard.
Nope, I'm here.
Here.
And I'm mostly just here to glean information. It's not that I have specific needs.
Okay.
I mean, I've been doing it a while now, but I just kind of wanted to see if there was something I needed to know about that I didn't know about.
Yes, yes.
Is there any trends or changes that you're noticing that are happening right now, especially with I don't know, it seems like we're gonna have another new online revolution with the meta and the AI and whatever. So what's next?
Yeah, I mean, AI is something, we should probably just do a workshop on AI. And I'll bring Bhaskar in on that, my husband, because he does a lot more with the AI stuff. Natasha and I were talking about ChatGPT. It's AI-based tool, which lets you, tell it what you want. It can write your post for you. It can do all sorts of great stuff for you, but you have to train it. There's work involved. So for, a normal business owner, you kind of have to weigh, is that how I want to spend my time, or do I just want to, do my own post? But if you're someone that struggles with writing your post and figuring out what to post, the AI is, sourcing the entire internet, and it's looking at all the social media streams, and it's telling you this is what you should put up, which is sometimes hysterical what it tells you to do.
And it's not always true.
Bhaskar and I were playing with it the other night, and we were just like, this is hysterical. Like my client, I was set it up for one of my clients, and what it was telling us to post, I was like, she will literally reach through the phone and kill me if I put this up there. So it's not always right. You have, because you're training it to know your voice, right? And know what you like, what you don't like, otherwise it's gonna do pink and purple kittens climbing the wall.
And what
which is
keywords,
not
there
your
has
thing.
to be like detailed keywords,
Right.
what I'm
You-
learning with the
You have to
Canva.
teach it, right, to be, yeah, and Canva's now plugged into the AI, so it does an interesting.
Do you like chat over Jasper?
I haven't played around with it that much, to be honest. I started setting up ChatGPT for one of my clients just because her web person told her that's what she needs to do. So we're trudging down that path. I don't think she's gonna do much with it, but she's throwing a bunch of money at it anyways.
That must be nice.
I know, right?
But there's some free on ChatGPT, there's like a free
Yeah,
version, right?
yeah, and ChatGPT is open source, so a lot of people go to that one just because everybody's contributing to it. There's a positive and negative to that. It's like Wikipedia, it's great, it's open source, but it's not, it's, you know, it
Nobody
rules.
did.
Well, and
There's just rules writing out the dictionary.
I just read that, it's coming up with false stuff, but then it writes a paper to prove that it's true.
Yeah,
Like, it's like giving false information and then writing something saying it's not false information. Trying to prove that information.
well,
Where have I heard that before?
you have to tell it what sources you want, right? So like one of my clients was having it just source across the entire internet for, you know, writing her study paper. But she wasn't telling it just to go to like NIH or PubMed or places, reliable sources. So you just get all sorts of weird stuff.
But an interesting thought. Now, we thought about this from the Wikipedia standpoint, because there's a little cove on the beach. I'm giving this away now. Everybody's gonna know. Don't tell anybody,
Secret
Shannon and
cove.
Carla. But the little cove at the end of, basically at the end of 12th Street. And it didn't have a name. And so we're like, well, we'll go in on Wikipedia, we'll go on Google Maps and call it Svensson Cove. And then we'll write all of this false narrative that tells you how, you know, the original Peter Svensson landed there in a dinghy off of the, you know, whatever, and have this whole mythology about it, so that we have this anchor in the place here. And of course, we've never done it. But you could do that with your product or with your company and use this false news to propagandize your company. And if you were big enough for that to matter, which ain't gonna be that big on anything, that could be interesting. I mean, it never occurred to me in this
Well,
minute.
kids are doing their homework with it and people are writing entire books with it, even though they've never
Read them.
They don't know.
studied any of it. They're just popping out books on Amazon left and right with this information that AI has created with them, or articles or whatever.
Wow.
The internet is becoming a wild and crazy place out there.
And then you have people who just believe everything, read it, and no research.
So I don't know if it's a backtrack or not, but I had an Instagram account that I've never used. I just used it so I could look at my daughter's posts and things. And I got a notice that I was locked out of Instagram for some violation. And then somebody else said, oh, I can help you get out of that. Yeah, they wanted money. So they're basically holding my Instagram ransom. Is that, yeah, hostage, is that fairly common? And to me, I haven't cared to even do anything with it because I don't care about Instagram.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. It's just not my.
I don't care about it either, but I have to.
Right.
Care about it.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, I don't think it'll work for any of the things that I need to communicate. And most people are cross posting to Facebook, so I'm seeing their stuff anyway.
Right.
So I don't really care that much, but it is from a security standpoint, as you do these things and do rely on it, that is a big
You
deal.
could get hacked at any second.
Yeah.
I think it's the opposite. I believe that all of the heightened security is doing nothing except keeping me out of my own account. It is nothing but I have on anybody else, almost everything I do, it's like, yeah, you want to see it, go. I don't have anything, you're gonna spend more than 30 seconds in my work.
Except that they then go take your
Friends
thing
list.
and put out this other spew of
If my
propaganda.
Facebook gets hacked, that would be different. You know, maybe,
Right.
but I'm not talking about Facebook security.
Right.
I'm talking about security on everything else, including my YouTube channel,
Mhm.
where I made the grave error of trying to post the active campaign training. But since it was called active campaign, the YouTube considered it to be inappropriate content to post and wouldn't let me post the video.
Right.
Even though I sent appeals, no human ever looked at it. because it was a piece of software.
Bill,
They
another
did,
5 years down the road, you get a lovely letter.
yeah, and so I think that one of the challenges that I have now is I may be locked out from posting any additional content to my YouTube.
Yeah.
Channel, and I don't know how to fix that. And that's because of their heightened security for me.
Yeah.
And it's just like my Outlook email
Right.
will not send an email to my Gmail because that's got me blocked out. So basically, I want all security down. It's like, come for me.
I'll give you that on my chart, because I tell you, I can never get into my chart.
They are so secure.
I was like, that's great. I don't really care if people know when I had my last mammogram, but I like to know.
Be able to get in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, your Instagram's probably gone and you could start a new one. Same with your YouTube channel. Worst case, you start a new one. You can continue to appeal to them. But you may just have to post that my new YouTube channel is here in the about, and then hope people come to where you are.
Well, nobody ever went to the old ones. So
Well, there you go.
Because it was never promoted. It was just a place to keep things. It was a file for
I-
videos,
yeah.
you know.
I've had clients that their website got hacked within like a few months of us finishing the nightmare. And I have clients whose website really should be hacked because it's junky. And it's not, like, they don't do any security certificates, they do nothing to protect it, and yet nobody cares about it. So I don't, I don't know.
Or Jenny had a Viagra commercial pop up
You're
on
like,
our, yeah, and it took them a long time to figure out where they embedded it.
Yeah,
Like, they just embedded it,
they're super
yeah.
secure. Yeah, no, it's that kind of stuff is not great to try and figure out. For your social media stuff, you really just create a new one and start again, like it's hard.
I just always worry about what damage are they doing with
Right.
the identity that
With
they
the
stole,
information
and
they
is it reflecting on me?
Right.
Most of it, I know
I
when
know.
somebody's stuff has been, yeah. I know when somebody else's Facebook has been hacked or duplicated. It's usually duplicated, that
Right.
theirs is fine and clean, and there's a surrogate out there. But not everybody can, because there are some people in here
Are
that
you-
look under the dictionary to see if their name's under color.
Is that you? You got nothing, if that's you.
Yeah, that's me.
There's nothing.
Great.
Thank
Thank
You
you.
say,
Because I couldn't check it myself.
Right,
that Instagram.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, Instagram isn't great about cleaning out dead stuff, things that don't have anything going on and there's nothing happening, they'll leave it out there for a real long time. which is
So
fine.
what I saw on Facebook though, is if you have a second person. That's part of your, so we have a social media company that we use for North Jetty. We do our Twitter, our Instagram, our Facebook. We run our locals page ourselves, because we know what's happening. I made him, one of the guy that owns it. Is the second on my one here, just because if something happens, if somebody locks me out of it, he can slip into it.
Mm.
So he's like an admin with
Mm.
all full rights, because I know he's not gonna. do
Because they
anything.
only lock one person out. I've
Well,
never been locked out. So.
It's like a two-person kind of
Authentication.
authentication, so
Yeah.
somebody can't just go in and shut
Mm.
down my page.
Great.
There's two admins.
I'm an admin, husband's an admin. Drew is an admin. Son's on.
I'm gonna make your son an admin of my.
His son.
We need a teenager, you know, to be able, and how important is Twitter where I have not gone?
I went on Twitter.
Oh, I think I went on long enough to set up an account so I could see, for a minute. And I
Yeah.
didn't see any reason to be there. And I have a friend who is, big into, human rights advocacy and stuff. And in her opinion, you can't live without Twitter. Twitter is where everyone is, where everything happens. And I'm like, what could there even possibly be there except arguments?
Well,
It's
then there's
like
links.
But it is where a lot of the media gets information to,
Out, distributes information out.
yeah.
So
So,
it's-
yeah.
what's
So
the
news-
information?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their news would be a link like get news here. quick. I
right,
mean,
right. So if something big was happening in the world, a lot of people will see it on Twitter first. I will not, I'm not on Twitter. But several of my clients are on Twitter, but most of them have kind of slowed their Twitter because we're not really sure what is gonna happen with Twitter. So I don't wanna invest a whole bunch of money into creating big campaigns for Twitter when, cause it's its own beast, right? It has to be short, you can give links, you can give this, and there's all these rules. Much like Facebook, but they have their own unique and exciting rules, and then it's a little bit of a moving target right now. There's stuff that you could do before, but you can't do today, but tomorrow you might be able to do it. So I am not feeling like Twitter is something, and I don't feel like for local stuff. I don't know that there's a lot of people on Twitter here. If they're real big political people, like, you know, nationwide political people, they might be watching Twitter, but I don't know that they're posting, and I don't think they're going there for like, where am I going out tonight? Just hang out and do so, you know.
how about the
They're gonna go to
business?
Facebooks.
So
How
we
how
have,
about what businesses would want to
Stay
take
into the Twitter.
advantage of the Twitter world?
so we have a Twitter account with North Jetty, and I guess it has a lot of people, but for us, we use it for distribution. We use it for, hey, this beer's available, and bars will see it in Hood River, and they'll say, oh shit, I want that, and they'll go to the distributor and get that beer. So for us, it's just pushing out like new beers in the, you know, people know, like I
So
said.
for
Hood River
business
might see it.
openings and things like that, that we have something new here at, you know,
Announcing
Pacific
an
County.
event or something
Yeah.
bigger happening, maybe.
yeah, might be good for, all of like the festivals and things that we do here.
Maybe festivals?
Well,
Yeah.
like what I was talking about last week, right? It's each of these social medias have a place, but different, right? You don't need to feed Twitter regularly. It is kind of a like, alert, this is happening, kind of thing. In my mind, that's where it is. The Twitter feeds that I pay attention to for my clients, that's a lot of it is like news and politics and this kind of stuff coming through. And then every once in a while, there's a wellness retreat at, and you're like, well, after reading all that, I need that.
Yeah,
That kind of thing. So it feels more announcement, like, you know,
Alerts,
broadcasting,
announcements.
that kind of thing out there, but
So
again,
if, for
who's watching that? I don't know.
example, you know, they announce clam tide dates, that would
Right.
be the kind of thing you'd want to put on Twitter, or storm thing. I'm wondering if the fishermen follow it. I'm wondering if the marine industry is actually using it for.
You could make a survey monkey who uses Twitter.
Set out your cognito. When using Twitter, is this?
I haven't used it for surveys. I probably should use it for a survey and see how it works, because.
well, let's look up Twitter,
You could post
follower
your surveys and
demographics.
just see if anyone responds, then you'll know who your Twitter people are.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
There you go. LinkedIn is more business to business, right? B2B, but you can, you know.
So if you have a business, it's, what I saw was a lot of real estate people. and like,
Especially here.
yeah, so if you have a business. Like, not for Jetty, but like for me,
Yeah,
are you linked into local? I mean, I don't
You-
understand.
yeah, so LinkedIn is like 6 degrees of separation, right? So you know, you're in LinkedIn, and then these are all the people who know you in LinkedIn, and you're the connector. So if they know you, then, oh, well, you know them, so now you're
But do-
gonna know this person, and
Do
it kind
they
of
share
builds
you, or
this
does
net.
it- How do people find you on LinkedIn?
Well, yeah, so they can search you, but most of the time it's like, oh, I know Michelle through my friend,
So
whoever
they
this
send you
is.
like a-
And then they send you, yeah,
Okay.
a little message saying, I don't want to be your
So it's kind
friend.
of like that new weird alignable thing that just popped up that's driving me
Yes.
fucking nuts. I get like 15 emails a day out.
One of my
You'll beat
clients
that one out,
posted an
Mary.
alignable, so I started posting an alignable too, and then I was like, this is weird.
It's so, and then you have to pay or you get credits
right?
connect with other people. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this?
So LinkedIn's
Okay,
more
I'm
free,
pretty-
a lot of free, so you
I'm
can
pretty
connect.
Pretty good at the LinkedIn thing because it is an industry related.
Yeah.
Right.
Thing.
For you, that would be huge.
And
yeah.
for the industries I've been in.
Yeah.
LinkedIn has been there's been two great resources for me professionally because of the industries I've been in. One is Idealist. Which is a mega website that's all nonprofit resources, how to get volunteers, jobs are posted there. You can get access to all kinds of things, but it's basically about people that are involved in the nonprofit sector. And the other one is LinkedIn. And my favorite thing about LinkedIn is that I can put my resume information on LinkedIn and it is there forever. So when I lose the file, I change computers. I don't remember what I did when I was at such and such a place. There's a photo I can store there. I can put, a publication I had, all of those things. And so having that profile, you can also get endorsements. So, maybe next year I'll ask for an endorsement from the mayor of the city of Long Beach. And then you will write me an endorsement, and whenever anybody sees my resume, say, well, she was endorsed by this mayor and that
So
mayor.
is it trying to get jobs in, or are you trying to just
It
connect
is-
with people?
It is absolutely for me, it is a career-based networking site. It is not, people do post on there, but that's just kind of to keep the flavor up, like Instagram, it is absolutely a career building site. And so they have a fantastic job section, and if I can't find any other resume and I need one in a hurry, it'll just look at my profile and make one.
Yeah.
And it only has stuff on it that I actually put in there, so it's not like AI, it's just like an actual resume.
Makes up your resume.
So that's what it's for, I use it when I'm job hunting, never when.
I don't want another job.
I was
I have
gonna
enough
say,
jobs.
being retired,
It's-
it would be handy
it's-
for an obituary.
Yeah. It's also a way to network, like that connection to other similar businesses, or like if you were trying to get more people to be instructors.
Okay.
Versus
Could
like
LinkedIn, like show
Cyndi
me
is
everybody
not
in
my-
Long Beach, Washington, and it would
Cindy, if
give you
you're
this
not
list
a
of all
friend of
these people.
LinkedIn, you should be, which I think you are. Because I am linked to, I think, over 600 Indeeds, right, which are your market.
Yeah.
So that's why.
So then say she links with you, then she can just see those people,
Yeah,
and then she just sends a message.
And then,
to them?
yeah, so I have to connect with them by
Okay.
sending a
so you
message
can invite them.
to specifically invite. So if you saw that, oh, there's a, yoga person or Pilates or whatever here on the peninsula
I
that
can
you
send her
don't
a
know, you could send them a message and be like, are you looking for blah, blah, blah. So it is a nice connection in this way, and
And they're looking for
it's
something.
in this very professional vein, which is nice, because in Facebook, right, it's like suddenly you're distracted by cat videos. There's a lot going on, whereas LinkedIn is like a professional
on-
to on.
On a note, it also helps, it's a good training tool for young people to start to build a professional profile. And if you started using LinkedIn when you were really young, you could just keep track of everything and all those things that I've spent a lot of time with young folks. They don't realize that when they did that internship at XYZ, that they should put that in their resume, but they don't remember what the dates were. They don't remember the name of the person. You can enter. And so at the job fair that's gonna happen at Owaco High School, they're setting up a station.
Great,
with a
that's what I was gonna
photographer.
say. That's great.
And Jeannie Brooks, who works at Microsoft, is gonna be there to help people set up their LinkedIn profiles and teach them how to do
It
it.
would have been so handy way back when, but now it's right.
This job fair is for the kids.
It's for the high school kids. They're recruiting, businesses are recruiting graduating students and summer jobs.
So can I backtrack just a little minute to Twitter? And this is just another,
Certifications. there too, which would be great for what you're, just to, certify, take it.
oh, that's okay. I just didn't want to make it weird for them.
I-
and mine.
Sorry.
Yeah. And I do this anytime somebody asks a question, I just Google it.
Mhm.
So, the demographics of Twitter, 6.6% of them are 13 to 17, 17% are 18 to 24, 38%, the majority of them are 25 to 34-year-olds. And then you can just kind of go on down the line. That's the bump in the curve. And then they're primarily male. Not primarily, but vast majority are male. So 68.5% male worldwide. So if that's your demographic, that's, I mean, simple enough to go find out. That's probably why we have Twitter.
Yeah, there you go. So when we did the last session, part 1 of this session, I talked about it doesn't hurt to put a profile on all the things
Mhm.
and just have a profile and not feed it. You don't have to feed it. Just because you create a Twitter account, you're there. You don't necessarily have to feed it, but it pushes you up in like Google search or Bing search or whatever your
Mhm.
favorite search engine is. It pushes you up into that search engine because you have more presence. It has to be real, like don't put fake stuff up because the algorithm will catch that. But if you're creating, create a LinkedIn account, make sure, we talked about this last week, you can look at the handout. I list out a bunch of stuff, like obviously make sure your business is listed on Google. It needs to be on the map. Come on, Long Beach businesses, get on the map, because I can't find you unless you're on the map.
I have a question about that. When I was at the Visitors Bureau.
Yeah.
There was a special project. We called it the Googleization project. And we had the intern that I now have at EDC was she took a list of businesses that were members of the Visitors Bureau. So it's really tourism related. And she went through every business to see, was the information correct? Was did they have a website? Did they have the address right? All those things. And then she made a big database, which I still have. And then the idea was that there was going to be a phase 2 of that where somebody actually offered them the assistance to get all of that put into, to give people guides and to do a few classes with people to help them do that. And I don't think that, and I'm sure it's quite pandemic related, that never happened. But there actually has been a project started. How important is that project?
Huge.
That's a huge project?
Huge.
Okay.
So like those maps we talked about of finding a map to all the galleries,
Mhm.
like if you're on
Oh, the
Google.
Google Maps that it'll give you the list.
all-
Yeah.
So if I search for, I was searching for a roll top desk. And so it was bringing up all these places, but there were literally like 4, and there's tons more that I know of because, been coming here and shopping for
Do you
estate stuff
still
all the
need to
time.
roll top desk? I literally know someone.
I
who's selling
do
roll
not,
top desks.
we just moved one into Amber's house yesterday. It's like, it's so beautiful. Yeah, no, I backed off the roll top desk. My husband's right, it's not gonna fit in the space and I'm gonna be upset. I still want it, but.
You're even there, right?
I know. Anyway, I need my outside in space. That's where I want to put my office. Anyway, so sorry. I think that the Google, like if you don't have, it's such a truly, I know, a lot of people say
I
it's
rely on it
easy.
so much.
It is super easy. It's a wizard, so you just go into, Google profile and the first handout I gave the link to go there. Click through and it asks you the questions. What's your business name? What's your address? That's all you have to do. And then you need to put in 2 emails, a good one, both good emails, because they have to verify twice that you're real. And then you have to look at your email, verify that, and then you're
You can upload your pictures.
Yeah.
And then.
and they'll
so-
send you a link in that email of which you should save, because that's the one you want to click if you want to quickly edit something, which is gonna save you a ton of
Also,
time.
you
Keep
put
that
in
one.
the words, so like my business is wellness studio, Inspired Mind Matters Wellness Studio. But when you say yoga studio near me, I pop up because one of my keywords was yoga, one was meditation, one was breathwork. So you can put in other stuff that will lead people to you.
We have had an issue, and I don't know, Bill, is it still an issue? How we show up on the maps, because Google Maps had us upside down and we're on North Pacific and they always sent people to
It worked
Benson's.
when I came. 'cause
Good.
I mapped it.
But there's-
No, because when I look at my stuff, it's always correct,
Okay,
but I've locked that in, so.
right,
If
so,
somebody's
so
just
that's
doing
something
it-
that's, it.
But yeah, you should test it, so once you
And
get live, then map to yourself
And we contacted them several times about fixing.
The location
Right.
yourself, if
Remove
you're
the
logged
pin.
into your profile and the
Mhm.
pin is not quite right, I know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's working now, so.
But I also know that some
Fine-tune it.
businesses have had challenges
Mhm.
getting their account set up because you have to do two-step authentication in weird ways, you have to be
Yeah.
available, or else they have to send you something in the mail and then that takes
Yeah,
2
they've
weeks.
made
and-
it more simple.
I was gonna say, I
now
did mine,
than-
like, I
yeah.
literally did mine a month ago, and
Yeah.
it was easy.
Yeah, I've added another profile for one of my clients a couple weeks ago, and that's how I made the handout, where I was like, go to this link, not the link they tell you to go to. There's a few like weird things that happen, and it's, I mean,
Since you're saying
It can
that's
go
a
off the
big thing,
rails.
that's what I'm hearing, and I want to. Figure out how to help move that forward.
Cause you wanna say restaurants near me and
Right.
see all the restaurants.
We all do. That's something that would
Everybody
be really
wants that.
valued to the locals as well as the people.
but
who actually-
some people,
and
that's.
people
To do, it's, you know, it's, yeah, there are a lot of people in the peninsula that just wanna open a business and they don't wanna have to deal with all this internet fancy phone stuff. I mean, you know, my aunt still had a flip phone until I finally used the other one. She blames.
And it's fine, but I think that the majority of people. Would like to have things at least correct on Google Maps. It's just what. Knowledge, skill, or small bit of support do they need to be
Right.
able to make that happen?
Yeah.
And
And
to know to change their hours when they change their hours, that
Right.
is.
Well, that used to be hard in itself. It used
Right.
to take forever and it was so hard to change. And then all these companies are like, your hours are wrong, pay us and
Right.
we'll fix it.
Right.
But now
Or
it's
you
easy.
could just say hours vary, click here for the most current hours and have people put it on their Facebook page or whatever, because they don't always
Well,
do
it's
that.
easy now.
And you should just put the hours that are consistent, like some people's hours are a little
And they'll ask you.
flexy. So if you are there every day at Tuesday from 10 to 2, that's the only hours you should put online. Don't put hours that you're not there, people.
And what they'll do, they'll send a message and
Keep
say,
it minimal.
are these your hours for Christmas Day? And then
Right.
you can like change it for Christmas Day and it'll make a note closed on Christmas Day.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's much more simple than it was in the past, and they've made it, which is positive, negative. They've made it easier to make those edits as you go through, but that may be something that they'll need support with too. To keep it, you know, up to
Maybe,
date
and
and all
it's
that.
especially helpful, I think, for like restaurants and retail. I
Mhm.
think that, Carly, correct me if I'm wrong. But like the booking.com and a lot of those programs really help guide lodging folks through the steps of the things they need to have posted online currently.
Right,
And they do a lot of their booking and stuff online now, so,
Yeah.
so that the prices are updated, the dates are updated, the availability is always updated. But there's nothing that does that automatically for restaurants or retail,
right,
so, and other,
different,
you know,
yeah.
services.
So, we're winding down on time.
Yeah.
Anybody online that needs, their questions addressed?
I have one thing.
Carla, Shannon, Peggy, you guys have any questions or any things to add? Any favorite tools you use that are just amazing? This is also a sharing.
Don't have
Very good.
anything, any questions, and anything that I would have added, you guys have already added. I
Oh,
fell in love with
good.
Canva years ago as well, and
Nice.
you know, that kind of, and multi-sharing on Facebook and Instagram to combine them together so that less work is better. Yeah, Twitter,
And
the
so-
only reason to use it is to get your word out for like news channels and stuff like that. And TikTok if you want to be in front of the young kids.
So I have.
We'll have a lot of questions when we start dealing. We have a Canva account that we just started like very recently. But we haven't had time to play around with it, but I'm sure we'll reach out when we do have questions.
Super fun.
Great.
Carla, I have a question for you. Because you're on the Visitors Bureau Marketing Committee and you're doing the president of the local chamber. Where should the Google Maps project live to move forward if I want to help make that move forward?
Someone else's.
I would say it's a dream team conversation. And none of us have the capacity.
Well, I have an intern now who started the project and it wouldn't have to be explained and she's halfway through. So if it's a matter of allocating some of my intern's hours
Yeah,
to the project, it still would need to be supervised either by the Visitors Bureau or by the chambers. So that's
Right.
kind of one idea.
so
But
I would say that if there was an intern that the chambers could completely help with, facilitate that.
all right, so we'll dream team it. Okay, thanks.
I have one question.
Yeah.
It might have been answered in the first, which I missed.
That's okay.
When you do a Facebook campaign
Mhm.
or an Instagram campaign,
Mhm.
what do you recommend is the minimum dollar amount? I just did one for $30 and it was fine. I got 4 new people in my group. But I got 4 new people in my group for $30.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it just, yeah, it kind of depends. So is it, are you
just want-
actually running it as an ad campaign?
I just want
Okay.
local, because I can't get the paper
Right.
right about it. Or even writing back. I just want the locals to know we're here, so I did like a 30-mile
Yeah,
radius,
target.
kind of a targeted age, so I wasn't.
Yeah.
Under 18, because they're not coming. And I did $30 for over 6 days. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, I got 4 people in my group, which is super cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where the sweet spot is of money to spend to
Right.
actually
Right.
help everybody.
When you did your targeting, do you remember how many people like end up coming up in that target group?
Oh,
Cause
no.
I'm usually balancing how much we spend by the number in the target and then how did we have, so sometimes you have to kind of reach further in your target than you would want to, like,
So
was
it's
it
a
a,
bigger range.
was it a very niche and were you able to target down? Cause sometimes as you target down, right, then you end up with like 5 people.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
like, oh, wah, wah. And so if you got 4 of those 5, great, good on you. For $30, yay. But if your target ended up with like, 1 million people, then maybe you'll have to spend more than $30 to get people in. But you also may want to look at what you put into the ad, like you need to look at your stats to see, did people actually open it?
No, I don't know. So
Okay,
72
so-
would be clean clip.
People actually reached was 1,500, and then your links, 72 of those actually clicked, and then after your ad.
And then I got-
49,
And then I got 4 people signed up in
that
my,
actually came
private
through. Yeah,
that was what $30, the $4 is.
and this was focusing on the wellness center?
Yeah.
or- Okay.
I did a
okay.
journal, so my journal's on Amazon, I just wanted
Yeah.
to kind of get it out there, so I
Yeah.
did a $4 or a $9 thing. But on this, I did a $30 one.
Yeah.
So I
Okay, you guys can't
Right.
hear what she's asking about is how much do I spend on a local
Yeah, I
Facebook
mean, I
ad?
think-
And I think
I would
Cindy's
just-
saying she got a pretty good response locally to spending $30
Yeah.
to.
And I made my target audience 30 or 36 miles, there's a circle, and you can't move it off the ocean, unfortunately, because then it puts your business somewhere else. And so you're basically
You
getting,
have to expand the circle.
radius,
from-
yeah.
You're in the center.
but you can make the circle.
But no mermaids showed up or whales?
That's what the sea lions are saying. For, they're like,
And you, you can choose, you know, male, female,
Yeah.
age group, there's a lot of stuff that you can
It's a lot of
choose.
demographic.
It's just trying to find what's right for you.
Did you select some keywords?
Mhm.
Okay, okay, good. Yeah, so I would say that that was pretty good. I would say increase it by like $5 and see.
On the same ad or making?
I would do the same exact ad, so
Okay.
you wanna change one thing,
Okay.
so that that's
Well,
your,
now we have 3 teachers,
that's
now
your
there's needed
metric,
2
right?
teachers, so I can be like, hey, we have
Yeah.
3 different versions of yoga now.
so if you could do a whole new ad. But if you want to test the price, right, just change that one element
So do
and see,
just $5 or do 35,
do 35.
okay, with the same ad.
Yeah, and
Okay.
see, does that, did you get twice as many people
Okay.
coming through, or did it like, then it's 0, was it? And then that target audience is just, it's used, so now you need to throw a new something.
Or bigger.
Yeah, or expand your circle, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause I was just trying to get Astoria to know, but then it sends it clear out to,
Yes.
Well, and if you think about the area and the. You know, what you've asked it to do, 1,500 is
pretty good.
kept hitting a lot of our people here. We don't have that many that are gonna be focusing on this.
Yeah,
Well, and the click, I mean, I feel like that click is pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that
Yeah,
is
it's
really
good.
good. I think that's really.
And that's on a Canva. That is on a Canva ad. Well, it's super cool, cause I could just go in, I don't know if they can see this.
Right,
You can just pick a template and drag and drop your own pictures into the template, put your wording on it.
yeah.
That looks good.
Make
Yeah.
this cute
Yeah.
little, yeah.
That's
this is so fun.
literally, this took me a minute and a half to make. And
That's
then, and then I had to come up with all the
There's
wording.
probably graphic artists all over the world that are like tearing their hair out right now.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them are little circles. But also, what I found with social media is glom onto anybody that you can, like who has a following. So Margetti sponsored all the kids' equipment for the kids' classes coming up. So I'm going to tag Margetti in this big giant thank you for sponsoring that. Margetti has 22,000 people who follow it. So anytime you can add another business to
Mhm.
what you're doing,
Yeah.
like Harmony Soapworks, I sell Harmony Soapwork soaps that she makes for the brewery and for me. And anytime I get a chance, I do a post about soap and tag her because she has a lot of followers.
Yeah.
So the more
Brilliant.
you use their audience, you're not just stuck with your own audience, do something with somebody else and use their audience. The Reiki girls and I are doing these things together, so their audience knows me, now my audience knows them.
Yeah, that's great. That's super smart.
And formulating campaign thoughts as we are.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like go to a business, you know, get a picture of you shaking a hand or whatever politicians do. And tag that business, and tag them.
Well, I have a number of businesses that wanna find a way to support me and I don't really need money. Just need
You need their people,
the word out
you
there.
need their audience, use
Well,
their audience.
places that
You
get
need
a lot
goodwill.
of people, like the libraries and the places that you're gonna get a good cross section of people. Then, yeah, tag the. Go there and
Yep.
get some pictures.
Check in,
talk
check
to
in
people and
everywhere.
then Start tagging them. Yeah, that's huge also for your Facebook and all the socials, right? It's just.
Is that what check-ins are for? I never understood. the
So
whole thing.
it took me, I was pulling my hair out because I went from a coach to a brick and mortar on my
Right.
Facebook page, which was not easy to
Yeah.
get that switched over. And it took weeks for them to say, okay, you can be a brick and mortar now. So nobody could check in, nobody could check in, nobody could check in. And then one day you could check in and now nobody ever checks in. And every class, I'm like, hey, if you love the class, check in, leave a review.
I don't think I've ever done a check-in.
I
It's
check
just
in.
not in my
Well,
wheelhouse.
not just that, it's like, what business of yours where I am?
I check in
Everywhere.
everywhere I
They
go.
track me, but I do check in when I go to like my yoga place or the acupuncturist or whatever. I will, they actually, when they check you in, they're like, oh, can you pull out your phone and check in? And they like wait for you. It's kind of
Oh.
uncomfortable if you don't do it. And so now I do it.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant because now they have all their people checking in when they're checking in and it's
And
just.
when they
part
get
of
checked in,
it.
what does that do for them? I don't understand.
And I send her people on her page say, oh, she just checked in somewhere, what is this? I've never seen this before, and they click on it, and they're like, oh, that's super cool.
And they get introduced, so now all my people that are following me are introduced to what did Cyndi do today at 10.
And it's so funny. 'cause
Should have gone with Jenny Brewing again.
I don't understand how this
Nobody
connection,
wants to see that frequency.
I don't know how there's a connection, but, so I have 750,000 photo views on Google. Cause I check in, like I check in, I take a picture everywhere I go. If I love the place, I'll give them a great Google review. If I don't like it, I just leave it alone.
Right.
I don't care. But there's like some sort of crossover now happening with my photos and they're like, you're doing great. 750,000 people have seen your photos, keep
Right.
doing it. And it's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, this whole, the whole Google timeline and all these things are
It's like,
evolving.
it's all starting to
And
manage.
becoming,
Yeah.
it's really, it's gonna be interesting for sure.
I heard this morning that they're gonna start deleting Gmail accounts that are
That you
not.
That you don't use, yeah. Which sucks because your phone is hooked to your Google account.
Not only that, but I have archive accounts set up so I could use the drives. Backups.
They're on to you.
To start using it.
Yeah.
Just use it a couple times.
Yeah.
It's just an
Throw some emails out.
archive.
How you doing? Yeah, cause and
Have a
Dropbox,
nice day.
Dropbox is dropping all the document storage, so they're gonna, Dropbox is gonna force you to use Drive now too, which is just driving more people to have to pay for Google Drive, which is.
I have a Hotmail account that I've had for 1,000,000 years, obviously. And the idea of changing it, why? Just so I look cooler, it works just fine.
have
Points are-
5
But-
emails.
But I am not the kind of person that cleans out my inbox, and it's proved to be extremely useful sometimes, but there's stuff from like 20 years ago in there, I think.
Me too, I have,
Yeah.
some stuff, but I keep a lot of stuff that's like.
My junk, we used to have it in a file cabinet, now we have it in email.
My junk email.
Correspondence
I
archive,
yeah,
yeah.
so much.
That I signed up for everything with, and then I farted out to the other 4 emails where I want it to go. Is karate moments. So I got it when the kids were in karate, and I was 30 years old, it's karate moment, yeah, I'm taking. But I don't save anything, my inbox is, I have 200-300 emails a day, and I give it, like, they're out until if I need to deal with it, it gets started, and otherwise it's crap. And
There's just so many times I've had to go back.
Yeah.
Because somebody forgot what we had said. I have here,
pages.
let me show you the email where we talked about. I think that's very.
See, something like that, folder.
Yeah, no, that's too much work. I just keep it all. Why not?
I'll run into
It
somebody
is
and
in my way.
it'll have to do with research and tribal lands, and I'll be like, wasn't I involved about something like that in 2006?
And you put tribal in search and you find it.
Yeah, and it's and the names and all the things are still there.
Yeah, I don't see any reason.
No, it just got me for the first time and made me pay for too much storage.
Oh,
Or
I
it's
mean,
gonna make
And
it.
then you have to weigh, like, is the time I'm gonna take to clear it out more than the $5 or whatever they're
Yeah,
asking?
really, even that much.
My
Just keep
extra
paying.
storage is full on some things
And
now.
I just keep paying for it, cause I don't wanna take the.
Oh,
I've been taking
doing done
process.
cleanups, just so it's faster if I'm scrolling it, but it's like, hey, search, I'm not scrolling it anymore.
I have, cause I'm connected to my clients too, so then I disconnected myself from the client. And like, you need to organize this, here it comes, and they get wrong. But.
Have we lost anybody online?
Are we
Just
done?
Past our turn.
Yes, we are done.